You are now listening to the National Show with Gangsterville and McGee. The National Show, the National Show, the National Show, no show, no show. The National Show, the National Show, the National Show, no show, no show. All right, No Nation. This is the National Show with Gangster Vizil and McGee. If you are watching us from YouTube, make sure you subscribe and like and hit the alerts on our channel at National. That's at NATIONOLE. We're also on IGX and all the links on our link tree, which is linktree/National Show, NATIONOLESHOW. We also have national.com, NATIONOLE.com, where you can get the latest show and all of our connects. Make sure you share the show, tell a friend, and tell a friend, and tell a friend. We about to begin again. It's another season, my guys. Oh man, the excitement is in the air.
Palpable.
It is time for big football in general, with football everywhere, and also Florida State football, our favorite sport. We're here to cover it. We're all excited, man. How's it going, buddy?
Big day, man. Big day, big week, big like it's just buzzing, right? Haven't been able to sleep. I probably look like ass. On that note, sorry if I sounded like ass last week. Gangsterville did not tell me that I was on the wrong microphone recording. I heard that back, and I apologize to everybody. Yeah. Ooh. I like since last week's episode, it's just gotten consistently more and more and more, you know? It really is like a buzz. I really do like feel it. It's no joke. It's no joke. Like, big week. What
huge week.
So let me ask. What are your plans for the weekend? How do you do this first weekend of college football after this? I mean, I know there were a few games last week. And shout out to Iowa State. Took you guys on the money line. That worked out nicely for the kid. But what are your, like, how are you entering the start of, I mean, because it's a long season, you know?
Yeah.
But it's exciting that it's starting. You know, you don't want
to. Man. It's the first couple of weeks is always the jitters. It's kind of like, man, I hate to use this reference, but it's kind of like a addict. You know, getting your fix again. You know, you've been clean. I'm fresh out of rehab. I'm good. The next thing you know, I get my fix, and I'm like, oh man, I got to have more. I need more. So at this point, man, I'm just doing what I can to survive until the Florida State game. So whatever sports on TV, whatever's on, I'm watching it, Netflix documentary or whatever it is, until that Florida State game comes on. Saturday morning is going to be straight football across the board, checking out all of our competition, checking out every game whatsoever.
We'll talk about them. We'll talk about a small handful of them, but there's some good games this weekend. I mean, three top 10 matchups in week one. Like, that's great. Once again, not to play an old song or harp on an old message or whatever the phrase is, but I still believe these should be the bowl games. Just saying. The week one, this is when all the neutral site bowl games should be happening. Everybody's all excited. Everybody's undefeated.
Yep.
Just saying. Be good for the sponsors. Be good for the playoffs at the end. Have their own space.
Right. I totally agree.
It's a big weekend, right? Those couple games. We're lucky we have, I think there's a game tonight, right? The Nebraska plays tonight.
Yeah.
They're playing against Cincinnati in Arrowhead. They're playing in Kansas City at Arrowhead.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Speaking of Cincinnati, congrats to the one of the most famous alumni, Travis Kelce, recently engaged.
Congrats.
Yeah, pretty big deal. And then there's also some football on Friday, a game that we might want to talk about because it involves our guy, Coach Sanders, Coach Prime. They play. They're hosting Georgia Tech Friday.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good game.
We got, like you said, there's a ton of action on Saturday, like there's supposed to be. Right, all is right in the world. Right, and then big game Sunday night too. So we actually have college football, great college football. Like in college football, I'm legitimately excited about. Starting tonight with Nebraska. Oh, shout out to the Nebraska Hour guys.
Yes, sir.
Added their friend Brandon Brawl. Brandon Brawl, Brock White, and Timmy Nebraska. They are going to be prepping for all the Nebraska games this season. They previewed this game. The episode went up real late last night, early this morning. However, you just whatever time is, whatever phrase you use. But they prepped for the game. They also went through the whole season. It's a pretty good Nebraska Hour episode, and they said some nice things about us, which is very nice of them.
Nice.
So, but starting tonight, you got Nebraska. Tomorrow night we got Colorado. Saturday, all kinds of action. Like it's crazy. So let's get to it. Real quick pro no report, or else this is going to be a really long episode. And I realize that in 2 weeks, once NFL starts, pro no report is going to have to be I'm going to have to talk as fast as I can and go because it's going to get really long once we start talking about NFL guys. But golf season is pretty much over. Brooks Koepka is his Smash Golf Club team at LIV. They rose from 8th to 4th in that final event, so they ended 4th for the season. Pretty good way to not give up. Exactly what we talked about. His last week, his individual season might be over, but he's got to fight for his team. And every hole for every golfer counted. Like it's really great the way they organized their end of season events and the whole LIV calendars. Really cool in my opinion. They have it was a team event, so really just team stuff to talk about. Smash City has a big off season. They have a chance. All four of the golfers on the roster ended above the drop zone. Right, there's no relegation. So for these golfers, so they have the chance to have consistency through an off season. They get to work on the game, strengthen their stuff, get better, and come back next year ready to rock. Now, one of the things I'm most excited about this week is it's crazy. It's crazy. Our squad, 3-game winning streak since last week.
What?
The Connecticut Sun. 3 straight dubs, baby. They are at 10 wins on the season. Yes, some might say, "Oh, it's a little too late." Right? Too little, too late. They're trying hard. At the end of the season, there's not enough time. Not me. I see this and I say, that's good coaching right there. They're keeping the squad engaged, man. They're keeping the squad engaged and working hard and grinding for next season and just for pride. And we've seen so many teams in so many sports mail it in when their season's over mathematically and whatever. Not the Connecticut Sun. So shout out to Renika Hodges. Shout out to the Sun. Good, man. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. Love that.
That's what's up, man. Keep it up.
Finally, of note, our guy Big Dumper got to 50 home runs.
Get it, Big Dumper.
There's still 28 games left in the season, so he might get to 60. That's crazy for a catcher. I think he's got most home runs for a catcher, most home runs by a switch hitter. I think he's already got it. Like he's already breaking some records just because you don't see production like that out of that position, So, yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting run. The Mariners are legit. They're a threat in the playoffs too. So, shout out to Big Dumper. And that's your final report for
get the jersey now.
Yeah, right. Thursday, August 28th, 2025. Presented by National.com. The newly revamped, kind of in the works of a refresh over at National.com. You should check it out because I got to go over to the website after the show because there might just happen to be some very stylish hoodies, some very stylish t-shirts.
There you go.
Very dope tote bag to carry all your supplies where you got to go.
Right.
There's a coffee mug because we do the show early in the morning. Right?
Yes, sir. You're gonna need
it. We have released our debut merch capsule. Right? It's just 6 items. We're keeping it exclusive and limited and special. In a couple months, we'll switch it out, or maybe in a couple weeks. I don't know. We'll do some new stuff. For now, got a couple. The first couple drops, first couple releases.
Nice.
National show.
Nice. And shout out to everybody that helped put that together, man. We appreciate all of y'all effort. We support y'all.
Angela, Binsky, you guys are awesome.
Sir.
Thank you both.
You guys are awesome. Appreciate you a billion times over.
Yeah, Binsky been a pain in my ass for decades, and every once in a while it makes it all worthwhile. You know what I mean? Every once in a while he steps to the plate, and I'm like, that's why I deal with it. I love that motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right. Got the Pro report out the way. Now we got to talk about these other games. We'll say the preview of Bama FSU till the end, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to go in order chronologically or anything like that. There's one game I mentioned it, right? That Colorado game, that Georgia Tech at Colorado, where it's really the only game other than those 3 big ranked games that I am kind of dialed in on, right? I've been thinking about this game for most of the offseason when I thought about college football, largely because I am so incredibly curious as to what's going to happen with the Buffs, BU, post, Travis Hunter, post
Shedeur
Sanders,
Shiloh.
right?
Yeah.
Shiloh too, right? But Shedeur is the one, right? We haven't seen Coach Prime coach a team without his son at quarterback, right? So I'm very much interested in seeing how that transition goes at that position group. And I saw at the end of last season, I saw that defense really improve. And so, and start to really enable that offense and put them in situations to do their best to shine. So I'm very interested in this game. Also, Georgia Tech happens to stay on my radar, right? They are in our conference. They're regularly a pain in the ass to us and other teams in our conference. They are, in weird ways, I feel like they're a sleeping giant in the new look of the new world of college football, right? Being in Atlanta, if they have some really well-funded alumni, if they kind of got their situation together, they could be something.
Oh yeah.
So game is at Colorado. It's in Boulder.
Oh, okay.
Friday night game, right? Georgia Tech is the favorite. I think the betting public sleeping on the post Shedeur Buffs, right? And understandable. You haven't seen something happen. How do you know it's going to happen, right? Colorado, home dog. They're getting 4.5 points. What are your thoughts on this game? What are you thinking? Is this as big a game to you as it is to me? Because I'm like super curious about this one.
Hell yeah, bro. Even though Colorado, it's a different entity, it still got alumni there with Deion Sanders, bro. What he did for us will last a lifetime, man. So we'll always want to see what they got going on, what he in particular has going on. I'm more in particular looking at the new quarterback situation, like you stated. Their new starter is Salter Caden, I want to say. And dude's pretty good, so he's decent, not no scrub or whatever, but the thing that matters the most is the relationship between the quarterback and the coach. You know, because him and Shedeur, that's a lifelong relationship. He could get away with saying stuff to him that probably wouldn't get away with you know, other players, just because, you know,
And
that
think
relationship
about
built.
how much communication they're capable of doing without saying things, right?
Exactly.
They're in sync, right? They say, you know, scientists say 85% of communication is nonverbal. Right? You realize just how much it is when you travel internationally and you don't have a great command of the local language. That's when you realize that you could really say a lot without saying shit. Right? So that's just strengthened when you're talking about a family bond, a familial bond, right? When they've spent that much time together over the years, especially in a shared pursuit of winning football games together. Right? So that's going to be different. And it's not just about what that means for the player. It's also, that's going to be a little different for Coach Prime. You know, that's going to change his kind of comfort level on the sideline. But they have a really good coaching staff, man. And
yes.
They have a coaching staff full of pros that command, because of that, the gravitas that comes with being a successful pro, it commands a lot of respect with the team. I think that they will have the players in the right space for that reason.
I think this year we'll see a bigger jump from them defensive wise. What has been their I guess Achilles heel is going to be a great improvement. What I've been seeing from Warren Sapp coaching wise, the energy he brings to practice, the interviews that he gives, details about what he's teaching the young guys there and stuff or whatever. I'm just as excited to see what they bring on the defensive side of the ball as the offense.
For them to make any noise in their conference this year, it's going to be about their offensive line. I recognize that sometimes Shedeur, not even sometimes, a little too frequently, Shedeur would keep the ball a little too long last year and kind of make his offensive line look bad. So I say I don't think they're as bad as they looked, right? I think they were with presumed improvement, both roster-wise and off-season practice, and just young guys get bigger, period, you know, stronger, you know, better. I expect them to be improved to that position. You know, I think the quarterback, if he's able to get through his reads, so he'll be able to play good football. It might look very different though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Listen, that altitude thing's real. We talk about it in the NBA and the NFL all the time. Boulder, right there next to Denver. It's at similar altitude. I'm gonna take Colorado with those points at home. In general, I like betting home dogs, home underdogs. But I think I just think there's hate. There's hate by the betting public, and I just think there's an opportunity here. This number shouldn't be +4.5 for Colorado. Maybe it should be +1.5 for Colorado, right? I'm not saying that they should be the favorites or anything. It's not that far off, but I think that's too many points. All right. Let's talk about these 3 top 10 matchups because that's what's super exciting. I'm going to actually start with Sunday night because it's dramatic. We got the 10 seed in that game. We got the 9 seed. We'll work our way up, right? We'll work our way up. So, number 6, Notre Dame at number 10, Miami. A matchup with history. Think about all that bullshit convicts versus fucking Catholics marketing and all those years. Like, these two teams had a legit distaste.
Way back to the Big East.
Right? A legit rivalry with one another that was, reputation based. That was just... it wasn't even anything like it was just very different programs for a very long time. There's less of that now. There's still some of that lingering, right? But both of these teams have progressed towards a pro model roster building, right? It's not so much, Notre Dame doesn't rely on the old boy network of Catholic schools primarily around the country, although it's still, we use it as a feeder. Miami isn't just putting the flag around Miami-Dade and saying everybody's staying here. Like even though there's still a little of that too. So like these are the evolutions of those old Miami and Notre Dame teams, and I love it. Right, this is perfect. Like this is exactly what college football is all about. Is these two teams playing? I love that it's a standalone spot, and everyone around the country is going to be watching. They have their own platform on Sunday night, right? No other games on, nothing. There's no NFL yet on Sundays. I think it's cool, man. It just so happens to be like a mile and a half from here, or 2 miles from here, so 3 miles from here, whatever it is. So maybe I look at tickets. I don't really like either of these teams or their fan bases, but maybe I still look at tickets and go. I'm interested.
Yeah. I like Notre Dame a lot recently with the new head coach. I love what he's done with the program because what's his name at LSU? He left there thinking that he couldn't win.
Brian Kelly.
Yeah, Brian Kelly. Yeah, Brian Kelly left Notre Dame thinking that I can't win here. It's too many stipulations with the academic and stuff or whatever. And then Buddy comes in and turns them into a powerhouse. And they were national championship last year or whatever.
Yeah.
So I love that aspect about what's Notre Dame or whatever. And then with Miami, we got to see what's the quarterback name? I don't want to mess his name up. I'm about to call him Stetson Bennett.
Yeah. All those Georgia quarterbacks stay the same.
Right. So anyway,
I suspect Notre Dame's going to be better than last year, and Notre Dame was very good last year. And because they're building on what they've done, right? Like they're taking a step. It might not be there's not a big step left to take. It's just a little baby step over last year, but I just don't think they're going to be worse.
Right.
I don't know about better than last year, worse than last year. Miami, they might have a less good, I don't think that's proper English, but a less good quarterback, but they might be a better team. That wide receiver core is legit. They have a serious offensive line, and they didn't lose that many of their starters, right? So now they got guys that have kind of played together. Now they did lose Cam Ward. Cam Ward's great. This is a step down. I don't think Carson Beck is I don't think he's going to get. Maybe he'll get invited. If Miami has a great season, maybe he gets invited to New York. But I don't see him as a serious contender for a Heisman or something like that. I do think Miami is a very good team this year. I think they're deserving of this top 10 ranking. And I think Notre Dame is too. I think this really is a great game. This really is a great game.
Definitely Notre Dame, but Miami, I'm not too sold on. Because look at the team. I felt like the team that they had last year was better, and look what they accomplished last year, even with being in the ACC or whatever. You know what I mean? With the number 1 overall pick, with a wide receiver that set records and got drafted, with a tight end that was almost 30 years old, in the league, like 7-8 years or whatever, they still couldn't, win the ACC title or whatever. Yeah. So if you take that team and
never won the ACC title, which is really wild. Yeah,
that's crazy. But if you take that team isn't better than that team. This team this year isn't better than the team last year, and they're playing a Notre Dame that's better than the team last year. I don't know. You would have to see a huge step up in the quarterback position, which I don't think dude is capable of. Yeah. Cam Ward loved to throw it downfield, and he had his mobility to create downfield, openness for the wide receivers or whatever. That was a huge dynamic.
If they give Carson Beck the time, he's got the arm to throw it down there, and he's an accurate thrower. He just doesn't always give himself the extra seconds like Cam Ward did. That's where. If there's any weaknesses, that's it, especially, coming off a legitimate injury from last season. But if that offensive line plays well and they give him that extra second rather than him having to get that extra second. We talk about it in college football. If your offensive line is exceeding expectations, it makes the job easier for every single other position group on offense, on defense, and on special teams. I mean, it's that's the best rock you can throw in the lake and watch the ripples have positive effects. It's so if that offensive line can step up, right? But I'm using the word if. Whereas with Notre Dame, I expect it, right? Like
exactly, that's what I'm saying, bro. So, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Even with the game here, and it's going to be humid and swampy. Exactly why Florida teams like to book games at home at the beginning of the season to take advantage of the humidity, to take advantage of the swampiness that the other team might not be ready for. Even with that being the case, even with it being a home game for Miami, I sort of like Notre Dame to win this game. And with a spread of only 2.5 means Notre Dame wins by a field goal and I win the bet. I kind of like Notre Dame. I think I like betting Notre Dame here.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. I don't see enough in Miami to. I mean, who knows? They could come out and slaughter Notre Dame, and hey, we're the U or whatever. But how many years have we heard? Oh, the U is back. The U is back. Oh, this is
not
their
for nothing,
year. This
though.
is their year or whatever.
Both of these teams could end this regular season with one loss. And either of these teams could lose this game, right? Like I could see. I mean, Notre Dame has a manageable schedule. Miami has only has 2 really big games on their schedule.
Yeah, but Miami every year, they fumble it to a team that's like,
I agree. Like, let's see it. I'm saying they are. I think they're a good squad all around, better than last year, even if it is a step down at quarterback. And if they're again. At some point, they're going to put it together and win the conference. They're not going to not be in the conference championship every game. They're too good of organization. Essentially, they're playing the NIL game really well. They've adapted to modern. Actually, that's backwards. The sport has adapted to Miami.
That's what I'm saying.
Always done this shit. They just can't get in trouble anymore. You know what? So have us. All right. So have I. So has everybody else. It's fine now, right? So the new college football world is perfect for Miami. So it's not this year.
I'm gonna tell you, Miami dominated because of 2 reasons. They dominated because of one. They was doing what people are doing now under the table way back then, 20, 40 years ago. And then But then 2, they were stockpiling talent down there in South Florida or whatever. Right. It was to a point that where people from Miami wasn't even going to Florida or Florida State. It was just Miami or whatever. Right. So
and they would be deep. That would it was what Alabama was able to do for years. It was harder for kids to transfer back then. It was easier to stockpile talent. And we talk about it now. It's a much more, we're going to see more teams with talent because of the way the rules are and especially the transfer rule.
Just think about that running back room that they had the early 2000s. James, McGahee, and like 2 or 3 other running backs that all
Clinton Portis was in there.
Clinton
it was just fucking dumb.
Najee Harris. It was just ridiculous, bro.
Good.
At every position.
I like college football when Miami's good. Right? I like college football. Miami's good. I don't want to watch a Star Wars movie if Darth fucking Vader isn't as strong of a lightsaber fighter as any of the good guys with the Force. I know the Jedis, right? Like I want a bad guy. I like it when Miami's the bad guy. I love that.
Yeah. They just haven't been able to put it together since joining the ACC, unfortunately.
They're closer. I think they're closer to having a complete kind of roster than they have been recently. Again, even if it's not Cam Ward anymore. I just think the other position groups are really, especially that offense, has improved around the quarterback position. Let's keep it rolling. Saturday. I know we went from Friday to Sunday, and now we're back to Saturday. But Saturday, man, there's great games. There's 2 big ones we got to talk about before we talk about the big one. Right? LSU at Clemson. The other team expected to do big things in the ACC alongside of Miami. Clemson is the home team for this matchup. It is weird that LSU, who plays their home games at Death Valley and calls themselves the Tigers, are now about to go play against the Tigers
in Death Valley.
In Death Valley, right?
Right.
It should be like in wrestling, sometimes they have weird like stakes on the matches. This should be like a gimmick match. right? Like one team gets to leave the Tigers and call their home the Death Valley, and the other team has to come up with a new mascot, new name for their team. Like this has to get settled, right? Like that's the kind of game. That's how it should be, right? If I was the college football czar, there'd be stakes on this. LSU is getting 3 points. They're the road dog going into Clemson. Did I say LSU is ninth preseason ranked 9th in the nation? Clemson preseason ranking is 4th. Now, we know why. That quarterback has been there and by all reports has made a great jump this offseason. He is a Heisman candidate. Right? He is in the conversation going into the season.
I'll say both of them should be.
Sure. I never really think about it from the LSU perspective, but you're right.
Yeah.
On LSU side of things, I still think about that defense and that those defensive backs being a pace that Clemson might not see again this season until their bowl game, or maybe if Miami really takes a step and if those two teams meet up in the ACC championship. But Clemson very well. South Carolina doesn't have those D-backs. LSU does, right? This is going to be, I think this is the toughest defense they're going to face all season. And it's crazy that it's going to be the first game of the season. Defense travels, right? That's what everybody says. Defense travels. I'm interested to see Clemson. Now, everybody's like, oh, he's taking transfers now. But he really only took a small handful. Right? He still, Dabo really only took a small handful. He doesn't always coach well with expectations, though. And I think
Clemson is looking damn good this year, just in the sense that they have a team that's been a team, like they have an old college football team, a team where players have been on their roster in multiple positions for 3+ years. That's damn near unheard of now across college football. And at the key positions, like think about it, Klubacek. I know I'm slaughtering his name. I'm so sorry.
No, I think you nailed it.
But
you nailed
it. But wow, that's a first.
Did way better than ever.
But yeah, he is. Just think about it. He's been there since DJU, bro. He's been there since DJU. He is the guy that beat out DJU. So they have a quarterback that's been sitting there for about 4 years straight at least.
I'm jealous, man. Last time we had that, his name was JT, and we were awesome.
Right.
I'm jealous. I want that.
Yeah. So he has a team of not only good players, because I feel like a lot of these teams now, even like you look at Ohio State, Notre Dame last year, they had the hired assassins, I like to call them, those transfer players that come in at the quarterback position, wide receiver position, or whatever, play a year or two or whatever. Right. But then when you have a team like Clemson you have those inside assassins, and they're built in. They're all about Clemson football. They have something else riding on their shoulders besides the whatever business deals, the NIL deals going on. They're bleeding orange and blue or whatever.
We just talked about this, man.
Right.
For a Jaguar, or do you play for the fucking team? Do you pay for the fucking uniform? Do you play for Chip Osceola, or do you play for car dealer who's slipping you money?
Right. Yeah. So with that aspect, bro, I'm looking at Clemson this year the same way you was looking at Penn State last year, bro. I'm like, man, Clemson might be able to ride that thing all the way out. I don't see, like, even in close situations like this, and I do feel like this is one of the closest games on their schedule with LSU. But even with that sense, I feel like the deal breakers, both of them are talent stacked on both sides. LSU got the DBs, Clemson got the wide receivers and quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, what's going to get you over that hump is that camaraderie, man, that we have to win this for Clemson, not I have to win this to get drafted or to get my paycheck or whatever. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor this weekend. Now,
I will say LSU has always had that. They've always had that identity, that team identity, even in the new NIL days. They indoctrinate quick. You show up and you put on that uniform and you start speaking with a French accent all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying?
Look at Brian Kelly. Look at Brian Kelly.
Yeah. All of a sudden, he was Cajun as fuck, man.
Right. I was like, man, he ain't gonna last down there. Next thing I know, he eating gumbo.
He clearly knows how to suck the fucking crawfish right and not like embarrass himself at the boil, you know?
Yeah. But what I will say with that LSU got rolling for him, and I didn't notice until watching ESPN last weekend, they have never won a season opener under Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly has never won a season opener. So
yeah,
we got him twice.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, that could be on their side, that extra, we got to get this one for coach. So I don't know.
I hate both of these head coaches.
Really?
These are my two. These are my two.
Don't get me twisted.
These are my two least favorite football coaches in college football. Brian Kelly has always seemed, how do I say this politely, insincere. Right? Like, I know all these college fucking quarterbacks are really just used car salesmen. I get it. Brian Kelly, like, he doesn't hide it very well. You know what I mean? Like, he just seems like a real piece of shit. Like there's a whole lot of stories that he was able to keep out of the press. That's what I think over the years. He just seems like that kind of shady, just kind of scumbag. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just how he's projected by how he's presented by the media. Right? I've always
said you need a little bit of Urban Meyer in you to win a championship.
Yeah. Hey, Nick Saban's lovely, and we love that aw shucks, like, ask Miss Terry if I have permission to go to dinner with you guys kind of routine. But like when it comes down to it, he'll sell you the fuck out of an Italian sports car that you don't even need. That's what he does, right?
Yep.
You need a touch of that. Slick tongue. You got to recruit. You got to re-recruit your guys. You got to deal with the transfer portal. And you got to glad hand boosters and bullshit with fucking play the game with the press. Right? It's a shitty job, and you kind of got to have a touch of sociopath to be able to do it. That's just being real.
Yeah,
but at least have enough class to hide it. And that's where my issue with Brian Kelly is. Right? Dabo is different. Like, Dabo's he's probably a lovely man. I'm just presuming that he and I aren't going to, sit next to each other at the bar, even if there's nobody else there. We're probably going to have a couple empty stools between us and just be on our phones. Right.
Right.
We're not going to be sitting there like, oh, hey, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I just don't think we'll get along. That's different.
I get it.
Yeah, give me the LSU on the road plus those points at Clemson. I think LSU is just kind of a tougher squad. There's a badass to their collective projection, their collective identity, whereas Clemson is we're good at our job kind of a collective presentation and identity, collective identity. And I'm going to take the tougher team in what I suspect is going to be like a battle kind of game. Like, I think it could very well be a very close game. Whoever has the ball last, we might get overtime here, right? And in that situation, you're going to give me a couple points on a good team. I'll take LSU. So, yeah. And also, I think they're showing up with like fuck these ACC guys. They think the SEC is the shit. They're representing for the SEC, and that has weight. That has merit. Right?
Yeah, well, we'll see. Last year, you remember, I want to say Clemson dropped the ball against Georgia when they started out like 34-3. So, and I think that was
a tough game to start the season for them.
Yeah.
They got way better, and largely as a result of that.
Yeah, but that's all that plays into why I think that they'll perform better, because they ended, I want to say their last game was against Texas, 38-24.
Yeah, they played very well.
So that was a great game. Texas is stacked across the line or whatever.
That was one of the better games of the year, and what an amazing college football postseason and season last year. Almost every week we had something incredible happen.
It was all the way live.
All right, we got this is We got to keep it rolling, man.
Keep
we
it
got
going.
a big game. We got a big game to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Texas. The fact that we get 1-3 in week 1 is wild, right? Texas, Arch Manning, Coach Sarkisian, they are going to Ohio State, the Horseshoe. New quarterback, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Welcome to Tallahassee. Whole lot of new faces on their defense as a result of the D coordinator leaving. Ohio State is the favorite. They're at home. I think that's pretty much it. But Texas is only getting 2 points. It's +2. I'm turning my phone off. Like I am. I don't want anybody to bother me. This is a big one. You know?
Same.
You know.
Same.
Thoughts?
I can't for sure call it, but if I'm going with the gut instincts on this one, I'm rolling with Texas.
Yeah.
Ohio State, even though they have the top recruit quarterback coming in, he's a true freshman. Kid was in high school last year, and he's going from high school to a playoff like scenario in college football. Yeah. Even though he's at home, it's a huge freaking.
He did enroll early. He was there all spring, but that's not. Still.
Right. He didn't get starting reps until a couple weeks ago or whatever. And that's really, if he would have came in as a starter during spring and took first reps the whole time, then we could be like, okay. But anyway, also you put with that with the new coordinators that they have at Ohio State or whatever. So you got a new quarterback, you got a new offensive defensive coordinator or whatever. So it's a lot of moving pieces that they have to get used to. This is their first game together versus a Texas team, even though they got a new quarterback. Arch been there for 2 years now. This is his 3rd year in the system. Very understands.
Talk about the benefit of that all the time.
Right. Steve Sarkisian has been there for a while or whatever, turned the program around. They may have lost some players, but got a bunch of plug and play. I'm going with Texas on this one, just off of that.
Yeah. While this is the least confident of any of these 4 games that I really feel strongly about LSU. I really feel strongly about Notre Dame covering. I really feel strongly about Colorado plus those points. I kind of just like Texas plus the 2, right? I don't feel as strongly as those other 3. Still, I may have a little something on it. I'm like you. I think it'll take Ohio State a week or 2 to really get everybody on the same page. It's fine. This is an out-of-conference game. This isn't going to knock them out of the conference championship. It's not going to prevent them from making the playoffs in any way. So it's okay if they let this down. And in the back of their heads, they all know that, right?
Yep.
The other side of it is Texas is ready to take names this year. They're just ready. They're just ready. They've been gearing up for this for several years. They were preparing to go to the SEC. They were bringing Arch along. Like they were getting the right team. They were spending the money in the right ways. It's culmination time, right? And I think Texas is going to start the season on all cylinders, whereas Ohio State's going to still have some bugs to work out.
Yep. Now, with that being said,
it is at the Horseshoe, though. Not easy.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's at the Horseshoe, and their coach Ryan Day is one of my favorite coaches in college football. Took a while for me to kind of just rub me off the wrong way when he first came in or whatever. But it's just kind of weird. But what I love about him is he's strictly about business, and he handles his business every year when it comes to that program. He's one of the few coaches, and I alternate universe. If he was to come at Florida State, if Florida State lands Ryan Day, I'm like, we're in fucking good hands. Like I ain't got nothing to worry about. Like, we're gonna be good. And I put it all behind it just off of his work ethic that he puts in or whatever. So love Ryan Day. So I and then also that receiver they got, number 4. I forget his name, but he is a beast. Jeremiah Smith. Best one in the league. If you just to be a freshman quarterback and have that tool puts you that far away from the rest of the pack or whatever. So.
No Chip Kelly. And that's it's going to be a very different offense. You know what I mean?
Right,
Chip Kelly, he seemed to do very well in that role where he didn't have to think about all the bullshit that the head coach has to think about. And he just got to go out there and play video games, essentially, there's growing pains. There's with any transition, right? With any, so give it 2 weeks. I wouldn't want to play against Ohio State this week. They're susceptible in a way Texas isn't.
There you go. Yeah. Like that.
All right. Let's get to the fucking game that matters, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Weather report. Tallahassee, Saturday afternoon. 79, 80 degrees. Humidity of 90%.
Oh,
thunderstorms.
Really? Oh, really?
This is a Tallahassee afternoon and fucking August.
Tallahassee game. I love it.
Now, Alabama's not from the north. They're not from the West Coast. They're not from the Midwest or the mountains or any of that shit. They're from Alabama. They know what the swamp feels like, right? They know what, they're not scared of bayou, gulfy, muggy weather, right? They're comfortable in that shit. Most of them grew up in it. So it's not the benefit it often is to us. Now, maybe a delay or two wouldn't hurt. If there's a thunderstorm, right, we definitely have the more comfortable locker room, right? But I don't see a benefit with the weather. Where I see, before we start looking at the field, right, where I see the benefit is that we usually play this game on a neutral field against the big team in the beginning of the season. It's not always at home. Right? It's not always in Tallahassee, in the new Tilt Campbell. That's the other thing. This isn't just a big game. This is an unveiling of our redesigned church, and this is a gathering of our tribe where we're starting a new chapter together. Like, this is a very big game for the Seminole Nation, our people, the nation, right? This is the national show, right? This is about them. This is a very big game. I'm not saying it's not a big game for Alabama. They're trying to get their shit together after a bad year too, right? Daboll, yeah. I think I'm pronouncing it right. He's a very good coach. Last year was not how shit was supposed to go down. So I'm not saying they don't have a fuck ton on the line too, but they're not taking us as seriously as we're taking them. They're not taking this game as seriously as most of the country is not taking us all that seriously after last year. Understandable. Understandable, right? Understandable. We're a 13.5 point dog. In fact, if you like Florida State, you search around, and I always look at the Arizona lines when I prep for the show because I love you. You can shop around and get Florida State at plus 14, a full 2 touchdowns. We are legitimate underdogs. I get it. Joe Public. Yeah. They're not. That recency stuff is they remember Alabama just getting beat by Vanderbilt and then keeping their shit together the rest of the season and having moments that were pretty decent, whereas we were just a fucking spiral from shit
start to finish.
Quarter one of the fucking doubling game, man. So I get it. I understand why the public would be higher on Alabama. And I understand why we are underdogs here. There is a path to FSU winning this game.
Oh yeah.
It might not be likely, but it can happen.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna start off with what you said about the weather, and not so fast, my friend. I don't think it will be as much of a non-factor as you think. Because check this out.
Not so
Think about it. Think about it, my buddy.
I love you,
home. It's at home at Florida, in Tallahassee, with the rain. So that's telling me whenever their offense gets on the field and our crowd stadium gets loud, it's going to be that much more harder to communicate, throw signals and stuff with rain, and you can't pass the ball as much as you want to or whatever. And I don't know, dude. As close as I'm getting to this game, the more hope that I'm getting from hearing from Alabama. Like it's a new season. We got to wash the stink of last year off of us, because what 70-80% of those players that played for us last year are gone. So this is a totally new team.
New offensive coordinator,
new offensive coordinator. Right.
Mm-hmm.
We got new starters all across the board,
which has positives and negatives. A, we had to make changes, right? That had to be done.
Right.
But B, we don't have what we were just talking about, like what Clemson has, right? Of that continuity, what Texas has, that continuity, that identity, that team identity.
But the same thing with Bama. With Bama. Since Nick Saban has left, they have had so much turnover to where this team is pretty much his team now and haven't been at Alabama for the last couple of years or whatever. Yeah. So, and then you put
and they have some injuries too. They have a couple guys that are very key that are missing the first 3 weeks or whatever. First week,
their starting running back is hurt. Their starting defensive tackle is not playing, and he's the captain of the defense. You put that in with a brand new quarterback that's coming in to start for the offense or whatever. Yeah. So, and they struggle with Jalen Milroe first came in as a starter.
Their backups are pretty good though. Like, let's not. I mean, it is Alabama.
We had their backups on our team last year, and what does that say? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sold on their backups. Just because you're a 5-star, you don't prove shit to me until you get on the field. Once again, Jalen Milroe, as touted as he was coming in, struggled when he came out on the field and started. We could even go back where Jalen Hurts struggled before he really got the reins of being a starter and got overtaken by Tua Tagovailoa or whatever. And that's not to say that these aren't great players.
That one wasn't even close.
Yeah, I slaughtered it. But not to say that these not to say that these players aren't great, but if you haven't proven yourself, it's going to take a while for them to get their foot wet or whatever.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts didn't come out the gates balling. You know what I mean? So with that being said, you know, they don't have that much proven people on there. This is the first game of the year. It's going to be under raining conditions in Tallahassee with a brand new quarterback and some of your starters gone. What more can you ask for of an opportunity for us to come out and make a statement?
For us to win this game, though, crazy shit has to happen. You're right. The weather has to be a factor. The hands, you know where it is. You know where it's going to happen. If it happens, you know where it's going to happen. It's special teams.
Special teams.
That has offense, to. We have to get back to special teams being our motherfucking calling card. Right?
Special teams.
We have made magic happen for decades on special teams. And if that can, you know. We can block a field goal or run back a punt or something. If special teams can show out and put us in a position to win, that would be great. Now, Alabama's defense is pretty good at the end of last season, right? They grew into a unit, a legitimate unit. I have faith in our defense, especially what we've rebuilt at defensive line and linebacker. Right? If our D-backs can, if our D-line can get after the quarterback and make the job a little easier for our D-backs, that would make things go a little smoother for us. I think both of these defenses can can play well this week. And I think both of these offenses are going to rely on a running game. Alabama, because even with their starter out, they're still starting a rookie quarterback, right? First start for the Crimson Tide. Meanwhile, that's our strength on offense, right? That room, as you talked about last week. Therefore, when I see an over-under of 50.5, I'm going to bet that under. I think the clock's going to keep running because of all the running plays, and I think the defenses are going to, there's going to be a lot of, punts. There's going to be a lot of field goal tries instead of touchdowns. Okay. So I like the under 50.5 total points. When it comes to FSU plus 13.5 or 14, I'm jamming that shit. I think it's going to be a single digit difference probably. And I think there is a small chance that we can win. So if you can find a money line, not every place will offer a money line when the spread's this big, but if you can find a money line, maybe a little something, but I feel very comfortable betting Florida State plus all those points and betting the
under. Same here, man. And I feel like we have two things I'm gonna say about our offense that's got me more confident. One, the quarterback position. We mentioned it last week. We can do some dynamic things at the quarterback position that we haven't been able to do since JT was at quarterback. The bootlegs, the quarterback runs, the quarterback sneaks and stuff or whatever. That has been
in sync with his coach.
Right. That has been a key part of our offense going back to as big and slow as Jameis Winston was. He still moved around at the quarterback position and had his bootlegs. We didn't have none of that last year or whatever. And then you put that with Gus Malzahn. That is Chip Kelly 2.0 in the college in college football or whatever.
It's why it works. You don't want a Gus Malzahn without a Castellanos type quarterback.
Right.
And honestly, as we saw in Boston College, you don't really want a Castellanos type quarterback without a Gus Malzahn and his, calling the plays. I think they both got a little chip on their shoulders.
Exactly.
Those two guys are freaking ready to go. Ready to go. Just imagine that fucking handshake or that dap or that like little interaction before the game. Those two being like, look where the fuck we are, bro.
Right.
Did you see this coming? Right. And like, imagine that interaction. That's gonna be a good one. Let's go.
Right. And then as far as Castellanos, you have to look at how dynamic he was. Not last year, because last year I want to say it was Boston College's first year head coach, and he brought in a pro style offense.
It's O'Brien, right? Bill O'Brien?
Bill O'Brien, right. Yeah. So he brought in a pro style offense, which is why he left. But if you look at the year before, like just the game against Florida State with Boston College, Castellanos was just, I want to say he had 100 plus rushing yards and almost 200 plus passing yards or whatever. The guy can make it happen. And then on top of that, this is his 4th or 5th year. Got hella experience.
He's a grown up.
Fifth year. Got hella of experience, have seen defenses and stuff or whatever. All of that I feel like puts us in position to at least keep the game close. Yeah. Put it that way. Yeah.
All right. Long show, but it's a big weekend, man.
Had to kick it off.
Yeah. 2 things we gotta mention real quick. Shiloh Sanders cut from the Bucks, kind of let's just say he overreacted and let his emotions take control over a situation on field. Hopefully he finds a job somewhere, gets his shit together, maybe anger management class, whatever you need, get a job, buddy. You only get a few. You're not going to get a third chance. So you're lucky if you even get a second, to be honest. So I'm hoping for the best for the kid. You mentioned him briefly, or you referred to him briefly, but like super salute, like absolute love, thank you, gratitude, all of that. Repping Florida State like a goddamn gentleman and a fucking champion and a legend for decades. Shout out to Lee Corso.
Yes, sir.
Right, like sports coverage wasn't really fun until you made it so. And now it's more fun than it isn't. Right now, like there aren't any stuffy guys anymore. Right now, it's all fun. Right? So, Lee Corso walked so that you and I and a whole lot of people like us could run. So man, shout out to Lee Corso.
I've
been waiting all fucking season. I've been waiting for a year for a football game that matters. Coach Cortez. You got them ready.
Get them ready. All right, man. This is Coach Cortez. Y'all saw what happened last year, but we're going to leave it right there at last year. This is this year. Are you here? Are you with us, Florida State football? Are you ready to put down the pass for the clack come Saturday? We need the best of everybody with a number on your uniform. We need you to step up to the plate and bring back that old school football. Put on your hard hats and get ready to dig deep for some motivation this weekend. Because, hey, man, if we knock them off their rocker, we have gone from the bottom of the ocean to the top of the mountain in just one game. You can make that happen. So come on, team. Get out there and make something happen for us.
Yes, sir. I am ready. I'm ready for work. Got the hard hat on. I'm ready.
Right.
I love when you do that. Love when you do that. All right. Let's wrap it up. I can't believe this is the longest show we've done since we've launched this whole venture. The national show is co-produced. between Broham and B. Eppin. It is available on YouTube. Thursday mornings, we do it live. You can watch it at your convenience whenever afterwards. It's 10 a.m. on the East Coast, 7 a.m. on the West Coast. Thank you for getting up early, Coach Cortez. Please subscribe, make sure you got that little notifications thing lit up so you get the alerts when we're ready to go, all that stuff. We appreciate you watching. If you prefer to listen to the show, it is available via the Bet Your Ash podcasting network, and all the shows on that network are available at betyourash.com or the Bet Your Ash feeds on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We have a link tree. So all the links are also on national.com, but we have a link tree where you can find all our socials, all of our, our Facebook, our Instagram, we don't have Facebook, do we? No, just Instagram and X. But all our links are there. You can also go to our site, where you can also find some dope merch. Speaking of Linktree, Gangstaville has a Linktree. It is Linktree /Gangstaville, GAINSTAVILLE. There you can find all of his music, all of his social media links. You can go to all the different platforms, listen to his music on all the different platforms, like it, share it from all the different platforms. That's the best way to support your friends that make music. Gangstaville makes dope music. Enjoy. There's always more coming out. It's hard to keep up sometimes. Other rappers can't. My guy's proficient, right? My guy works hard. Right. And I think that's everything. I mentioned the merch available now at national.com. I mentioned the link tree. It's /National Show, NATIONOLESHOW. I mentioned your link tree /Gangstaville, GAINSTAVILLE. I mentioned betyourash.com if you prefer the show as an audio product instead of video. I think that's everything, right?
Yep, that's it, brother.
All right, man. Well, in that case, go Noles.
Go Noles.
And you have just finished listening to The National Show with Gangsta, Fizzle, and McGee.